boys.
Oh,
Come
right.
on.
Yeah. I see. I see.
So what was the item build? The sanking one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't like it?
No, I like the items that he went for. I just didn't like that he didn't have blink.
None of them did.
What, he doesn't need blink if he gets Aghanim Scepter right after with the Crimson Guard and
No,
pipe.
Here we go.
I think you.
Like, all the damage from the bear, the radiance, the right clicks. He had 0 deaths, Mr. Chan.
You're right there, Cap.
Doesn't matter. If you have blink, you do more for your team. Why wouldn't you want to do more for your
They
team?
had 2 frontliners.
Do you know how do you count how many times he clicked his R button in that game? His epi. There was no epis in the game because he didn't have blink.
But if you don't need to cast Epi, you can just be the second frontliner.
Do you know that they almost lost? They were at a point they almost lost the game.
I didn't watch the whole game, but I love the item build. There's a reason why he had 0 deaths, man, as a sanking.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Not
Back to you, Paul.
Not dying doesn't win you the game, bro. Not dying.
That's true.
I love it when you two are on the panel. It's so good. We just light the matches and set fire to you both, and off you go. It's fantastic. Let's look forward to these 2 semi-finals. Liquid came through yesterday really impressively. I know it.
Yeah.
You have to isolate it a little bit because those two prepare for each other. They've both told us they do. We know they do. It's like a very unique matchup, isn't it, between those two? So can we take anything from how Liquid played yesterday and transfer it to LGD?
I do feel like it's a series of matchup where the 2 teams do elevate each other. I think they elevate each other's play. I think because of the prep that it's involved and that they respect each other so much that it does bring the best out of both teams. That being said, I do think it says something about Liquid for sure. It says something about the fact that they felt very prepared. They were playing very well. I think several of their players, in particular GH, looked very strong in that game. Feels like that they're back into a groove and maybe in a position to finally be able to take a major for themselves.
Yeah, I mean that's the big question for them, isn't it? We know how much GH, in particular, wants a major title. The closer they get to it, does it perhaps get on their mind a little bit?
I don't think so. They've been playing well pretty much the whole season. Felt undefeatable. Besides the VP, you said they were 6-6 yesterday.
Yeah, 7-6 now. Yeah, after the win in the final game.
Well, I think this particular matchup will be the closest one, maybe in the whole DAC so far. We had LGD already taking them down 2-0, but that was 2 BO1s, and I think Liquid is one of the teams that adapts the fastest. Maybe not at the first series, but after the second one, I think that they just got it.
Okay. When you look at the DPC points, they're second right now, Liquid. Almost assured of a TI place, probably will be after this one. LGD are down in 12th. Anyone looking at that would think, well, this is going to be one-sided, but explain why that isn't the case.
Roster swap. They had a huge roster swap when they brought in X Nova. They brought in Chalice. The team has changed up entirely. They've been playing much better in the recent months. Qualified for a few lands, and I think the most important part was the team gelled together. The previous team that they had, the old roster, the chemistry wasn't there, and they were not doing well because of that.
Yeah. I would say also that throughout the history of Dota, we have seen through every single season, there's going to be some teams that are consistently strong, and there's going to be ebb and flow of these kind of, let's say, Tier 2, and then they'll become Tier 1, and then they'll fade back into Tier 2, where they kind of figure something out about the meta, they figure something about their team, and they do become quite strong in that one instance, and then maybe they just don't continue to make that kind of evolution, and that's what it requires to stay a top team. So LGD has made that change here. They've become a top team. See if they can continue.
I think the best example of that.
Welcome on stage, Team Liquid. Welcome on stage, LGD Gaming.
Until they met recently at the DAC tournament, these two teams had a record of 1-8 as far as LGD were concerned. Anyway, just one win in 9 games, stretching all the way back to TI last year. But 2 wins in the group stage for LGD. That's given them some confidence that they've got over that hurdle, isn't it?
Yeah, I think the big problem for Liquid was that they gave Miracle a bad matchup. In one of the games, they had Faceless Void against Anti-Mage, which pretty much Faceless Void always dominates, and they shut him down early on the Anti-Mage, so he couldn't recover. And from there, if you're stuck in a base with Anti-Mage, same goes for a hero like a Chen. It doesn't just feel right if you're just relying on Anti-Mage to deal damage. In the second game, they had Morphling, and they were ahead in that game, and after that, again, not a good matchup. Disruptor against Morphling, he went for a more greedy build, Boots of Travel, no defensive item against the Spirit Vessel as well, so they just shut him down a couple of times, and after that, pretty much the game was over.
How much was that experimentation in the group stage for Liquid?
Maybe a little bit out of Liquid. I'm not sure if I remember the Anti-Mage pick was particularly surprising to me. I think the Morphling was fine because I remember they had the matchup versus the Razor in that game. But the Anti-Mage kind of stood out as a surprise pick to me from Liquid. I'm not sure if that was experimentation, but it definitely felt like the hero's impact was not as strong as Liquid hoped for. It does feel like LGD in general, though. They, in both of those games, they just looked like they were able to lift their carry up more than Liquid was, right? Ame had fantastic games in both of those best of ones.
Yeah, we'll take a look at the carry matchup in just a moment. Winter, how important is that between these two teams right now?
Very, very important. As you know, Liquid is a team that wants the abusive lane matchups. They're going to try to pressure your carry really hard. But I would say that if Liquid tries to do like a very similar game plan in the VP game, like they had the good lanes, and they move into much more of like a split push, much more of like focusing on bringing the lanes out with all this kind of Furion, keep off a Lone Druid kind of hero, but it might not be the best idea against LGD because they tend to run the kind of vision and catch hero, and we saw in their series against EG. EG did that. They got caught out multiple times. They won the lanes, but they started to split push and they got caught and they gave away a lot of net worth away towards LGD. So I think that has to be something that Liquid is going to think about after watching their replays.
Added another 3 heroes to his list during the group stage, did Corona, and including a Weaver carrier. Are we going to see anything crazy at this stage, or is all the craziness left back to the group stage?
Look, I think the Liquid, they need to be able to. I think they want to be able to pull out a win. They don't need it. Point-wise, they're absolutely fine. They're probably all but guaranteed into TI. But I think they would like to be able to prove themselves that they are absolutely back on top, that they are going to be able to win a big tournament like DAC. Heading into TI, it's just a nice confidence booster, and I think it just in general will feel nice for the team.
They are the hungriest TI winners I've ever seen.
Yeah,
definitely no RPGs for them. That's for sure.
Never enough. It's never enough. It's all about winning and winning and winning.
Yeah, it feels like this is the first time that we might actually see the same team winning TI.
But you're wrong, Lacoste.
What?
It's the year of China.
Well, if they win DAC,
yeah, I can't argue with that.
the curse is real, isn't it? Don't we swap every year?
We're supposed to, yes, but
until a winner from the SEA.
We're supposed to not have a player who's going to win TI twice, right? That has
true.
also been a thing, right?
Yes.
But eventually these curses have to be broken. Eventually new storylines have to be formed, and Liquid is looking like the team that could shatter every single one of those rules of TI.
Yeah, well, or maybe an SEA team wins, and then that's completely thrown it out the window.
Could be. Or CIS team. Let's go
Sounds
Virtus
good.
Pro.
I don't mind that. Sounds good. SEA team, haven't really won any big major events. I mean, we do have like a one TI winner, Chuan. He's from SEA.
Yeah, albeit with the Chinese team at the event. But yes, I know what you mean. It'd be nice to just stop hearing about the glory days of Orange and be able to celebrate someone new.
Yeah, it'll be nice.
Anyway, we'll move on. LGD and the booth getting ready for their matchup. What have you made of them so far, Lacoste? They're supposedly the best team in China right now, the best Chinese team on the world stage.
Yeah, they've been looking hottest in the group stage. Besides Vici as well. Vici is back on track as well. But I like how LGD drafts, and I think they figured out Liquid. So we might see the upset here, to be honest. They already beat them twice, but Liquid is really fast to adapt to the current situation. They will never... if they need to farm, Liquid is a kind of a team that if they need to farm for the next 40 minutes, they will just farm. They will not risk anything. And then if they're ready to go after 40 minutes...
But I think that 2 losses, you can say it's group stage, they're a bit, chilling with their drafts, but I feel like it probably has something to do with the way they play, though. I think LGD matches up really well with how Liquid plays. I mentioned that Liquid tends to like to move around, to split push, to secure the lanes, push out, get objectives. It's not a very good way of playing against LGD, in my opinion, because they're really good at catching you out, and they have all these kind of vision heroes. So I think it has to do with the play style. LGD really matches well against Liquid.
I would agree. I think the fact that they have these 4s and 5 positions that always have a lot of catch and a lot of ways to be able to find out these split pushing type heroes, and then the fact that maybe is such a bully, as long as they give them some sort of like decent team fighter who has an okay laning phase, he's going to go around and he's going to bully you away from these team fights. You don't want to fight into him. Naturally, you're going to try and split push, and that's where the supports come in and manage to get so much catch.
For the newer viewers out there, explain why LGD are doing better than the other Chinese team right now. Is it style? Is it heroes? Is it meta? Is it players? What is it?
Heroes. They are willing to... I mean, they play Chen. Which Chinese team plays Chen? Everyone else don't play Chen. They play a lot of wide variety of heroes, I would say. Chen is the one that comes to my mind first because it's the recent addition. Maybe not that recent, but we've seen him quite a bit. But he's a hero that's been around for 1-2 months. But none of the other Chinese teams have been experimenting with it. And in the Chinese scene, I hear Jack say a lot about if you want to do well, you need to import people, And LGD has recently imported a C player, and which worked really well. Xnova worked really well with the team. I feel like they have a coach that decides a lot of things within the team. QQQ drafts for them, and we had a discussion with Carl about Dota that this is a game where you want dictatorship. You want someone to lay down everything. This is how I want things to be done. This is how I want to draft. Everyone else just needs to follow. No second opinions.
And that in turn affects the style, right? And I feel like LGD is the fastest of all the Chinese teams, and I think that's a large part of where they had their success.
Yeah, true. They love to run the group as 5 at one point. They love to have Beastmaster, Wenge, Terrorblade, or whatever heavy damage dealer, some tower damage as well. So once you lose a fight, you're probably going to lose at least 1 set of Raxes, if not 2. Also, Xnova on that Chen really aggressive how he plays. One thing I would love them to change is maybe play more around the offlane. I feel like when Chalice is shut down, he has hard time to recover. Unlike Ame, he always recovers if you give him Terrorblade, whatever. So they should maybe try to make more space on that offlane.
I mean, one thing to mention about LGD is maybe he's been a player that's been around for some time, and he's usually known as the player who takes all the farm. He's that flashy player. But in this team right now, I think part of their success is maybe his transition into the more fear kind of carry. He's more of a player that's willing to play whatever hero, play the Viper, play the Razor, play the DK, have a much harder early game so that his teammates are set up for success. He makes the rotations even when he was poor. There was this one game that he was playing Gyro in the group stages.
No drums, right?
Yeah, he got shut down in the lane so hard, walking around 2-3k net worth, but he was still making moves for his team to allow other players to farm. This is what I feel I'm most impressed by the team.
Yeah, there's very few Chinese players doing that in their teams right now, Lacoste.
Yeah. Also, one thing to mention as well, FY. I think he started the trend picking up a bottle on position 4 hero when he plays the Tusk, when he plays the Bounty Hunter, so he can keep the pressure. That's why they play fast, because the position 4 hero doesn't have to go back and heal. He always has that sustain and threatens the rune as well, which gives him a lot of gold, so he can be the one who's active.
All right, it's a classic matchup in many ways. And then also in colours as well. Red versus blue, Liquid versus LGD. Draft number 1 is underway. There's a couple of heroes that stand out that they've played against Liquid in the last 4 matches. They've picked out Disruptor and Witch Doctor in all 4 of their last 4 games against Liquid.
Oh, ban green.
I think Disruptor provides them the catch when Team Liquid try to split push and when they are defending the towers. But you need, like most of the Chinese teams, you need to be really careful when they're defending the tower. So Disruptor is a good catch.
The Disruptor is like, I feel like I don't feel so good about Disruptor now though, because there's been a lot of like 2-1-2 lanes. I think we had this discussion before. But Disruptor is not great against 2 against 2, or 3 against 3 for that matter, and he's really good at bullying 1 off lane. Don't get me wrong, but the meta shifted more towards 2-1-2, so we've seen a lot of Disruptor games being really bad. Like, I think there was one game PPD was playing Disruptor, and was watching Solo playing Disruptor, so he didn't have a good game because he got like dual laned. That's why we can see these Lions coming up, maybe Witch Doctors as well, coming up in more priority compared to the Disruptor.
Oh, that's interesting. I thought they would actually go for the Keeper of the Light first pickup, simply because it felt like Liquid did lead that out there for LGD specifically. So I thought, okay, just open with the Coddle. You're either going to get Beastmaster, you're going to be able to get Sand King, you're going to get something that benefits from this hero. But instead they feel like the Beastmaster, which maybe links back to what you were saying, Winter, where vision is key.
NS, no. The NS is, I think, could be the counter here. If they're worried about the Beastmaster Coddle that LGD have run before in the past.
Are you willing to blind pick that that Night Stalker? And what if LGD don't get it?
I think Night Stalker itself is great against the Hawk vision of the Beastmaster itself, not just the Keeper of the Light. So I personally feel even if they pick the Night Stalker and there's no Coddle, it's still a legit pick against the lineup.
There is Wisp still in the pool.
As well as Chen.
Yeah.
So there you got the Wisp. Wisp and Tide. Tide is a very good matchup against Beastmaster in the game and in the lane as well. If you ever get the lane, Tide usually does very well against Beastmaster. In the game, he doesn't want to raw you because of Kraken, and if he raws your teammates, there's the Ravage coming in. The Anchor Smash is great against the Necrobooks. So
we might go back to that Disruptor against the Tide Hunter or Witch Doctor. Like, both of them are really good, but this is the dual lane that they want to run. This is the fastest Tide Hunter pickup in the early stage, I think, that I saw throughout the DAC.
Just because of the threat of the
Beastmaster reaction. Yeah.
And I think it's like, it said something, right? I think the Tier 1 teams, when they see this threat of a dual lane, they don't try and go, oh, how are we going to beat this dual lane? How are we going to secure our safe lane? The best teams actually go, well, they're going to do a dual lane. Let's try and match that pace. Let's try and get a dual lane of our own that is quite strong.
Let's see who has carry that's poorer.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I feel like the lesser teams oftentimes don't. They only react and they only go, oh, we have to secure our safe lane against this.
I mean, one more reason maybe the Tide Hunter has been picked here is, I mean, Lacoste brought up how Liquid is really good at adapting. In the previous series, they played more of speed push game, but against LGD plays more of a vision game. So when you're up against a vision game, what you do, you pick more team fight, because then you group up together. It negates a lot of their vision advantage with their heroes, and you just fight them head on. And usually with the vision heroes, they are more lacking in terms of head-on combat engage.
It's the old bounty hunter concept, right? You can see me all you want, but if we're 5-manning into your towers, what does it make a damn difference?
So we see the Night Stalker being taken out there. I mean, not a surprise. They have Beastmaster, they have Keeper. Don't want to play against that. Terrorblade also being taken out. One of our army's best hero.
Yeah, how does Venomancer do against, let's say, if they put the Venomancer against the Beastmaster and Keeper of the Light, that gives them also the kind of a vision hero as well?
It's banned, bruh.
Oh, sorry.
Bruh. Maybe you should pay attention.
Can you two just leave it until like game 2 or something?
I think Nyx would actually be a decent hero for maybe Liquid. Guess it could be either side.
But then it would be what? IO plus Nyx duo?
No,
not the strongest.
I was thinking 4 position as your 2 supports.
Interesting ban from
Just
LGD.
for hunting down the backline of the Cuddle and the Wisp.
Yeah. But I kind of like feel it's a bit. The early game might not be the best though. If you have Nyx and IO as your support duo,
5 seconds
you
remaining.
probably want someone stronger. They might go for a Rubik, maybe. We've seen them do like Rubik IO. Or in the past, there's also a Tusk IO. I've seen them doing Tusk IO. I think there's more of a balance between the duo. Personally,
For a sign.
I want the IO to be rich, and I want the other support to buy everything. Because I don't like Wiz in a game that comes into a situation where, oh, I need help with wards. The other guy can't really, buy everything.
This is next level LED, like, banners now.
Okay, I can tell you what he's saying. Sorry, this is Chinese tournament, and Chinese is going to win.
I think they flipped it. It said Chinese Dota, best Dota. But
yeah, the previous one did.
So maybe we go back to that Witch Doctor for Team Liquid, or they just go full green. I mean, Witch Doctor is really good against the Beastmaster, and they have enough sustain and what you talked about, Winter, that they need a position 5. Especially now, since Wisp doesn't need boots, so he can invest in more items.
They might pick maybe a Wyvern if they see like Beastmaster Venge and this kind of thing. I think Wyvern could be a good position 5 to pair up with the IO. It's not the strongest, but Wyvern does fit in the scenario where he's okay buying everything, all the wards, covering all the support duties, and you have quite a good team fight. Void against Tide though, I am not a big fan of that. The matchup is kind of like both ways, but I feel I'm more comfortable with the Tide, and nobody wants to jump first, in the Tide against Faces Void matchup. Like whoever goes first with their initiation is generally going to have a worse initiation than the other.
Yeah, if Tide jumps in first, then Void's going to follow that one up after the Ravage is down. If you Chrono first, then Tide's going to blink behind the Chrono, and he's going to hit all your team, and the Chrono's going to feel useless.
You're going to want the Chrono the Tide, which is generally, I think if you get that Chrono, it's more on the Tide screwing up if he gets in the Chrono. And I don't like the lane matchup. Tide destroys Faces Void in the lane. And with this kind of like try opening, I'm going to see LGD doing this kind of 2-on-2 lanes. So Beastmaster and Cotter is going to be on a lane. Void is going to be +1 with whoever support it is. If it's a Witch Doctor, that's probably the strongest duo. As long as Tide gets support in the early game, he gets some help. He gets to level 3. 2 points in Kraken Shell.
Team Liquid needs a hero that has reliable stun and more control for Faceless Void. None of these 3 heroes provide anything, so maybe.
But if they win, the lanes,
Disruptor.
I think if they win the lanes hard enough, though, then you can make a case of having a less balanced draft. I mean, I've seen Liquid do that, having a draft where they have very little lockdown. But I can understand your concern.
You have a lot of counters to the Chrono. You have the relocate out. You also have the Ravage. But would you want one more? Would you want like Naga Siren or something?
I don't think they need it though. Right. They go for the Disruptor, so they have a, like you said, a catch. They have team fight. So much more all-rounded stuff here from Liquid, and a position 5 hero, so the IO can just be greedy as he wants.
Yeah, and it was also a deny pick from LGD. They have a good setup with the Chrono, and one of the better counters to Tide Hunter in general is Disruptor.
And LGD once again leaving a support pick for last. I've seen them do this so many times. Not every team does this.
So you think like LGD, they want to match the Cuddle Beastmaster against the Tide maybe? Because I can't imagine they're okay with Void going against the Tide
Void,
lane.
you don't want, I don't know, it doesn't matter what kind of support. I feel even if they have the Witch Doctor, as long as Tide gets some help, all he needs is like 1 minute of help, maybe 1.5. He gets to his level 3. The lane is more or less going to be really, really good for Tide. I can see Witch Doctor being probably the strongest laner out there. They can pick to lane against the Tide.
And there's Viper in some other lane, so if Liquid get a third core, that matches well against the...
I see Team Liquid getting a Phantom Lancer maybe. It's really good lane with the IO. I think they pulled it out once as well. They don't have too many counters for PL.
Team Liquid's turn to pick.
So there's the Witch Doctor we said right at the very beginning of the draft for LGD.
Yeah, one of the better laners against the Tidehunter. But as you mentioned, I think they want to have that Beastmaster Coddle matched against the Tide because of the burst damage that they have, and they do not want to have Void.
So what is the miracle hero here?
5 seconds remaining.
Do they? I think they need like some kind of like right clicker.
You may now select your heroes.
So Lifestealer is gonna provide that, but he's up against a Chronosphere and Beastmaster.
Yeah, it feels a
Blinding
little
Light, Mana Leak.
counterintuitive.
But Dota is not a 1v5 game. You have teammates, so there's the Tide to protect him. There is the IO to cover him. So if he lives through all the disable, he's gonna do damage.
It looks like a strong focus on the laning phase, right? Because the Lifestealer is probably one of the better heroes to deal with the Beastmaster's aggression in lane. I've ran that matchup a number of times, not with the Coddle, but just the Beastmaster versus Lifestealer, and you can't actually pressure the hero out.
Yeah, he's very good at absorbing the pressure, and so overall, I'm gonna start first. So I think I'm with Liquid here. I think they have the lanes to absorb the Coddle Beastmaster pressure. They have the Tide against the Void, which I would always favor the Tide. So I'm just gonna go with Liquid here.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Void is just generally too countered, and it's too important of a hero for LGD. The way they try and lift Ame up is makes this feel a little bit too exposed.
I'll go with LGD then. They have a good vision game, and they are not relying everything on the combo with the Void. So even if the Chrono is down, they can still take a fight.
I guess we will never agree on anything.
I was waiting for it. I mean, I knew that you wouldn't actually pick the same team. Why would you? The fight will continue between Lacoste and Winter after we get the real fight, which is occurring inside the arena for Game 1 between LGD and Liquid.
Panelist fighting really has nothing on this. LGD versus Team Liquid, a full best of 3. The winner of this series will be the first team at DAC to secure those DPC points. Kyle, the panel was a little bit more split. Lacoste went for LGD, and after our little discussion during the drafting phase as well, seems like you were leaning LGD's way as well.
Yeah, I think Coddle Beastmaster is still one of the more broken combinations in this meta. They first picked Beastmaster. They obviously came into this game prepared to pick this combo, and I don't think Liquid addressed it very well. If you look at LGD's core lineup, Beast, DK, Void, they have a lot of options for initiation, and I feel like if you look at Liquid's lineup, their supports just die. And once the supports are gone, you're going to have this Viper, Lifestealer, Tide lineup, and none of these heroes actually make rotations themselves. They're totally reliant on the relocates and good glimpses and a strong laning phase, and I don't think you can outlane LGD's lineup right now.
It does seem kind of crazy. Like, we were looking for combinations, right? Like, we looked at the IO, like, well, what's going to be coming up? The Huskar was the 5th ban out from LGD. The other hero you're tossing up was an Alchemist pickup as a possibility for Team Liquid. And this would give them something to play around. But I'm wondering, like, what's Liquid's win condition? We've seen them time and time again throughout this tournament have these lineups which push around like that 15 to 20 minute mark and normally win the game by the 25 to 30 minute mark. In this game, what is their timing when you have Lifestealer, Viper, Tidehunter? Is it all about the team fight against a Faceless Void?
I'm really not sure. It was just surprising to me because they picked even Viper into Coddle, which the Liquid's it makes sense if they're trying to play this game like more of a tempo, take the game early. But I look at LGD's lineup and I think, how are you ever going to pressure tier 2s without a large advantage? And Coddle is like one of my favorite heroes to play against Viper because you just blind him away and he's a creep now and he's just sitting there. Mana leak him, it's such a hard matchup for him, and I don't see that roaming rotation hero that a Wisp can really play with. And I think GH's Wisp is a lot stronger when they have kill potential in all lanes and both supports are free to move around. Disruptor doesn't really like to do that, and he is going to be playing top with a Tidehunter?
Yeah, he's actually... Well, at least the Aya is going to be sitting with a Tidehunter. The Disruptor, Kura is going to be with Miracle on the bottom lane. Trying to balance this out. Thanks to the early ward from Team Liquid, they can at least watch the rotations. It's a little bit more of an unusual ward being further to the north. FY gets its own obs down. As he runs back over the river, this will give Kuro the information he needs to know that a ward has been planted.
I think
he needs this D ward to make this bottom lane work. But
I think you want to switch lanes.
Miracle? Are they actually going to?
You can't contest 3, but I think LGD wants to switch lanes. You want the Coddle Beast against the pressure of IO Tide. If it's this is what happens.
He has to Paralyzing Cast. Good distance from GH. He can't tether back over again. Well, it's just having to get away. This is why Witchdog is such a great hero against IO, because the Paralyzing Cast keeps him so close. But under the tower, GH, he'll need 2 more hits to get that kill. The Tango regeneration of Witchdog to give him just enough. Arme kind of wanting to keep the pressure on GH, because they grab the creep wave and they can pull it down. Looks like Mind Control with a Gush wants to pull it over.
I think this might come back to bite LGD, because Liquid wants the Lifestealer against the pressure of the Coddle Beastmaster. You just farm under tower, have a lot of natural sustain, whereas up top, the IO Tide just pressure the crap out of this Witch Doctor Void.
Kuro was able to get the D-Ward on the bottom lane, so they'll go a little bit further their way. Okay, looks like Mind Control also doesn't even give a crap about the Faceless Void. He's just trying to keep that Witch Doctor out. 1 more Tango to work with. There's 5 on the Faceless Void, so they can split it up a little bit. But if they can keep this Witch Doctor out of play, GH can just continue to bottle spam this aggression. This actually reminds me very similar, it actually reminds me of a classic Jimmy strat, the support Tidehunter bottle, where you can just run around the map and you've always got that level 1 Gush as easy harassment, and you only need like 1 bottle charge to get up to it. It's very, very similar with the never-ending tether of GH.
Difference is Jimmy never had a GH Wisp to play with.
That's what makes this stronger, right? So it makes this dual off-lane potentially work. CS-wise, it's a bit of a whitewash for both sides on top lane.
Over time, I think both off-lane dual lanes are stronger, but it's going to be about who really controls the tempo throughout this mid-game, and I just fear for Liquid.
They're going again on bottom with that strike. Chalice. Miracle actually backs off, looking to dodge the axes and not come underneath the creep wave or that. The Illuminate spam. It's a real problem for the cores on the lane. I love this crowd as well. A Wild Wing gets killed by LGD. Woo! little bit of bias towards LGD here, obviously.
Just a little.
Well, nice regeneration room for GH to bottle up on the top. He needs to get back over to Mind Control, who's trying to just stay in the trees, or maybe not over towards Somnus. Matumberman with the extra buff up. He's got 1 more poison attack. Somnus, he is going to live. Dropped down to about 20 HP and burns the salve instantly.
I would have liked to see Matumberman put a point in his Nether Toxin before this initiation, because if he's level...
They're going again underneath that mid tower. The Breathe Fire is out. GH, he's happy to do this, because with the regeneration rune, they can just get that life back again. I think Chalice also was looking to have a crack at bottom as Somnus. Okay, Matumba, you waited way too long. The Maledict is out. The Paralyzing Cast will bounce as Chalice gets the kill on Akuro, and Somnus punishing the diving Matumberman in mid lane.
It's really good skill build from Maybe. He went 1-0-2, 2 points in the Dragon Blood, and Matumberman didn't compensate by putting an early point Nether Toxin. So he's just running around with 6 extra armor and regen, and they don't have the tools to get rid of it.
And that bottom lane as well, like the creep wave came underneath the tier 1 tower. This was allowing Chalice to just basically freely move against the Team Liquid safe lane.
Yeah, but there's nothing a Disruptor can do in this lane. I actually thought that Liquid would be the ones to pick the Witch Doctor just to alleviate some of this pressure, but Kuro's Disruptor has no real... He doesn't offer anything to this Lifestealer down here.
He offers punishment potentially later for extra team fight control.
They also didn't purchase a Sentry, which has allowed LGD to just keep playing on this hard camp.
Kuro needed a level 1 glimpse to be in range, but he wasn't. And the wall did not control FY. Miracle was ready just to open wounds and kill. Timing just a little off.
All the lanes going very well for LGD. Mind Control might get this DD top, though, and set up on mid.
And Somnus knows he has to turn around. If he gets gushed up right now, there goes some of that armor. The Dragon Tail's done by his time, but it won't matter. Mind Control with the double damage rune and already being slowed, the DK cannot escape.
Yep, that was a nighttime kill, because if the ward does see that rune, but Mind Control timing it very well, comes into vision just when DK crosses the line of no return.
So Team Liquid gets something back with the DK. The laning phase is still not absolutely perfect. That's why they're trying to add more pressure down the bottom lane, having 3 heroes attacking into Chalice. Support's coming in from the Witch Doctor. Illumina spam is ready, but with GH's medic abilities sitting on the sidelines, even getting hit by this, They can keep the chain going. Chalice able to escape, very, very low, but alive. 45 HP, and those stick charges coming in very handy.
And he also, he's going Medallion, and he purchased a chainmail. If he doesn't have that extra armor, he dies there 100%.
FY smart TP out, but Glimpse. Smarter still, Kuro able to ensure that Miracle can claim that kill. Leveling the score up at 2 apiece.
Up top, though, you have a Void. This is the hero to watch in this game. Because if Void can get to the point where he has a Battle Fury, Shadowblade, BKB, I don't see how LGD can lose the game. Because there's no real save for the Chrono. Wisp Relocate doesn't really count in a game like this, where you're inevitably going to be playing against this massive vision advantage from LGD with Coddleags and Beastmaster Birds flying everywhere.
But the only thing you've got is the ability to tether and stay outside of the Chronosphere. A Relocate save out from GH. Bottom lane, they're going once again over onto Chalice. Kuro gets the wall up and running. X-Nova is here, paralyzing cast, flies down and bounces over to the Kree Wave and back over to GH. So unlucky for him, but it's great for LGD. Maybe not so much when Chalice is dead, but if they can get Kuro, they can make this all worth it. FY trying to force the issue. Kuro, stick charges give him the life, so even that very fast channel Illuminate from FY not doing enough work. Miracle open wounds comes back off cooldown. So X-Nova starts his TP, but Kuro is waiting for it. The level 2 glimpse pulls him back in. And Miracle will claim now his 3rd kill for this bottom lane.
Yeah, Liquid playing this matchup very well. They need to continue rotating the Wisp in with these teleports to help out this lane, because they need kills down here. They can't play around the Tide top.
No way for Mind Control to really survive this. Like, even if he does get far enough back, they can just chrono him up, but Somnus commits the dragon form.
Yep. It's just really good. It's really smart by Liquid, and you can see why they win TI, because the only place Wisp can actually make plays is maybe middle and specifically bottom. So that's where he's playing. Up top, yeah, Tide dies, but no one can be there, and if they are, it's just wasted effort. You will never kill this Void, so play away from them.
All they can do is try and survive bottom lane once again. Team Liquid pushing into LGD. This time the Glimpse comes as the aggressive one, not to just cancel a TP. A Chalice in real hurt. GH, the positioning's really nicely split from Team Liquid. It's only one hero that ever gets hit by that Illuminate Blast, and now Mind Control, trouble for him. He's just short of level 6. Support's coming up in the form of Matumberman, but without that level 6 on the Tide Hunter, they can't really do much more. He needs one creep to die so they can have the Ravage available to get this fight going their way. More TP support is still on the way, and Ame, he dives in deep. The Chronosphere, Eclipse Kuro, GH has to tether up. Mind Control, healing through it. He's actually been kept alive. Ame in the trees. He's going to go down. Team Liquid, they survive under the tower. And LGD, what was meant to be a simple and efficient kill on a Tide Hunter,
he's got the glimpse,
was so much harder. And can they pull him back? No.
He mangoed for that. Just such good movement from Liquid, and it's one of those games where they don't really have the ability to make plays, but they can be incredibly reactive if they respond properly. And you saw the splitting there. Ame did not want to use the Chrono that late, but Tide Hunter playing left side, Viper playing near the ramp on the right, he can never get both, and that allows GH the time to come back, save him even through the Chrono by pre-bottling.
Yep, that was wonderful play by Team Liquid. It could have actually been a disaster for LGD if one more creep had died in that top lane and Tide had 6. It would have been a very simple 3-man Ravage. They're preparing a gank in middle lane, LGD, thanks to that Invis rune. Kuro, he's here, looking for the extra glimpse. Matarman just starts on the Beastmaster. Not a lot Beastmaster can do apart from throw out some axes, get a revenge kill onto Kuro. So it's a 1-for-1 trade-off, Matarman. Not a lot of life. These one-shot is not available, and the body block from Somnus just trying to keep Viper under control. But now Mind Control will arrive. He actually has no mana whatsoever. So I don't know what he's looking to achieve with this apart from just body blocking out Somnus.
Yeah, up top, it looks like GH killed the Witch Doctor under tower, I believe with the assistance of Mind Control, because his Ravage is on cooldown.
Yeah, he burned it. We were watching mid at the time. I don't know if we have a secondary camera that caught that, but this now she gives free space for GH to catch up to level 6.
Real quick, one thing that I, again, neglected to see at the drafting phase was, while LGD's lineup is great,
they pulled back Somnus. He's starting up his TP. Glimpse has already been used, which is why he's been able to TP away, but the tick damage still very high, but not enough.
Look at Liquid's lineup. Tide, Viper, Lifestealer going this Armlet build with a Wisp. Does LGD have the damage to actually kill Liquid in a team fight? Because until they get a lot of core items up, I think Liquid might be able to actually walk down lanes, bait spells, and as long as they don't take some massive team fight where they lose 2 or 3 right off the bat, if the Wisp stays alive, no one's going to die. We saw this at TI. That's why GH Wisp is auto-banned.
You know, I would feel more confident in LGD to have that damage if they had high points up in Maledict, but they don't. Like the supports are the most, well, the ones who are struggling the most. Keeper of the Line can delay things, but you are right. Team Liquid's major strength is strength itself. If they can survive through it all.
It's just, all of LGD, they have no legitimate magical damage. It's just Void, DK, Beastmaster. And if their auto attacks throughout the duration of their initiation, the Roar, the Chrono, and the DK,
Glimpse.
They have nothing.
They're waiting for the time walk over on Arme. At the same time, LGD are bringing a lot more support in. DK's coming in from the left. Arme's got one more time walk available, not to mention his Chronosphere, and he gets both of them. Kuro again clipped on the edge, but I don't think they're really meant to get Somnus too. So Lifestealer just infests inside the catapult. Kuro can get stunned up, but he will die. FY's Illuminate takes care of that.
They don't kill Miracle though, and that was a big rotation.
That was a smoke rotation as well. These smokes are going to become more few and far between.
And I'm looking at the item build. You're going to have the Viper going for Helm of the Dominator, an incredible item on Wisp, because it not only gives the regen to your teammates, it gives 1.5 that regen to the Wisp tether target in addition.
Aya's in trouble. He needs to get away. Someone needs to be closer, and he's actually got the Catapult Lifestealer, who also refused to get out until now.
Yeah, it's...
GH just needs to control the boundary runes for the next one. He's going to be straight back up again.
So very close to 6. And that's when the Liquid's lineup gets really scary, because while they can't move around the map that efficiently, they can plant one of these really annoying tanky cores in every lane and reload one of them to the fight as Kuro TP's in, and all of a sudden they have 4 heroes there, 1 kill, 2 kill turnaround, then there's a tower. They can rinse repeat this the whole game.
They're already preparing for the top fight. GH and Kuro with smoke running all the way north. So this is a simple walk. X-Nova, he's going to be a very simple kill. They can glimpse him back when the time is right. He was standing perfectly still, so they wall in to begin with and just let Mind Control take care of the rest. A perfect split, making sure the Paralyzing Cast doesn't do anything, and even allowing Matumberman to get the last hit. So no glimpse having to be burned, saves a lot of mana for Kuro, and they've still got that big ultimate for Disruptor to try and control the Faceless Void.
Look at Miracle's positioning, just providing so much information for his team. He knows bottom is unsafe, so he'll just run around, check the stacks, and probably look to connect on middle here. Or just run back bottom.
That's a long run around. Somnus is starting his own TP. He's heading towards the top lane.
Nice info, though.
Yeah, he saw the final part of the TP, so Miracle knows. Actually, he TP'd mid. It's Keeper of the Light who TP'd to the top. And Mind Control, and the dive is coming. Faceless Void is still available. Keep that in mind. Ravage, it gets burned. They see Faceless Void. If Kuro can get that ulti off, actually they just split it up. Arme is focusing on GH. He's got Tether off cooldown in 1 second time, and he's already starting to relocate. Mind Control, they go towards mid. They keep the battle under the tier 1 towers, but it's the mid tier 1 tower. Kuro will lose his life on the top lane. And you know GH is going to be heading back up there. They're taking the tide with him. Arme, Chrono, he still wants to make sure that GH is the primary one to die. So Chrono Sphere's up. The Tether is there. Not to mention the 7-1 charges available. They're going to get a little bit more life back. And the time blocks from Arme were just too good. Miracle will arrive and they'll dive under the tower and kill off X-Nova. Nothing will prevent this, but a little bit of RNG allows LGD to have more of an even trade.
A great example of great Dota, but sometimes you just get ice frogged. A really good movement, though. They knew DK had TP on cooldown. They see that he's middle. Instead of sitting bottom in a lane where he's susceptible to a roar and maybe a rotation, Miracle runs mid. They reload out. They use the Ravage knowing they can force this fight, kill the Coddle, and then they get the extra one middle, and it leads to a tower. And it's just super good play from Liquid. Like, they're moving around the map very well, and their timing is here pretty damn soon because they have the Helm of the Dominator finished on Viper. Every Ravage, they can make plays like this, and LGD actually cannot take fights into Ravage.
Yep. So they have to delay it, right? Like, so how do they prepare for this? Is it going to be through BKBs? Is it going to be through better initiation with the Face of Void? Once he gets the Mask of Madness, does he have enough damage in the Chronosphere to be the instigator?
They don't really have damage. Like, for this entire game, all Liquid needs to do is kill this Coddle. That's it. All of a sudden, Tidehunter is he's just going to sit there and be fat.
LGD's pinging out. They see GH. They're getting 2 wards down, looking to make sure they can see any kind of movement from Team Liquid into their own southern jungle. Ravage on cooldown for 30 more seconds, so this is a small window of opportunity for LGD. They don't have everybody they need. They can bring him in with FY, but his Spirit Form is actually wearing out now.
But just look, Liquid's still playing all 3 lanes, and LGD's not confident to enter any one because they know, like, look at the pairings. Wisp behind Tidehunter. Mid, you have Disruptor Viper. Up top, Miracle by himself. Like, they're playing around the right course, and it puts LGD in a spot where they don't know where to play.
Yep. Because they can't kill anyone, and anyone they do want to kill, instantly you have to know there's going to be a relocate onto it. Or mind controls underneath the tier 2 tower, so you can have TP support arrive fairly quickly too.
And the item choice is perfect. I love it. I was thinking, who's going to buy the Crimson Guard? None of the cores really want one, so it's going to be GH's Wisp. Tide's getting the mech, Lightstealer Armlet Deso, and the Viper with the
Here they
HID
go,
Force.
mind control, relocate, GH is prepping it, and there's your tether, mind control, ravages, and they pull him out, but he dies to the Maledict, pulled out to the tier 2 tower. The Ravage was blown. Kuro's looking for a target. He'll see FY for half a second. Actually, he won't. It's still not daytime. That's in 2 seconds' time. Miracle will find FY. The TP begins, but you know the Glimpse will cancel it. So it's an FY, Keeper of the Light, with that big Tidehunter and Ravage blown as well.
If real quick, check out the LGD vision. While they've had control of this area, they place 1 ward on the Shrine, another in the mid lane, and then a really good ward if left uncountered. It's already been up for near full duration, up by the hill near Radiant top tier 2.
Yep.
They scout this Ancient stack as well.
They were definitely ready for any kind of fight that did happen on bottom lane. Even if the odds are bad, the vision allows them to take a better opportunity, because that Observer ward was watching the rotation of Team Liquid back down to the lane. But now it looks like they feel confident enough. So Chronosphere is still up, but Liquid will push the final tier 1 tower of LGD. LGD will get a trade-off of their own, pushing in the top lane.
There's the Deso on Miracle. They're so strong on Liquid, they don't need Ravage. You cannot fight into this lineup right now, and they might find the Coddle.
Yeah, they're looking for him in the trees. He cut through a little bit, Miracle. With that forced off FY into the trees, and he knows. He knows. HY was wrong. Actually, Blinding Light pushes him back down again. He can't TP for 8 seconds, and Kuro dies to FY under the tier 2 tower. What a beautiful play. Pushing GH and Miracle down the hill, bought enough time. And now, maybe it's LGD. Our mate's got Chrono available. GH as well as Miracle in the trees. There's the Chrono out. The tether is up, but the damage is too much for GH to repair in time. Even with that Fit Booster, Dragon Tail follow-up, and the Maledict. Lightstealer's dead. He couldn't reach the creep wave to infest. LGD couldn't fight into it. Well, they just fought around it.
And it's all about that information. Look at this top ward by the Radiant tier 2. They know Viper is TP'd here, and they immediately look to collapse on bottom. And all that play is set up because of FY's movement. If he dies 15 seconds faster, it's not the same. It's an easy play. They see Viper in the creep wave. Ame sets up. He finds the Wisp and the Lifestealer, and now you can just rotate everybody. These guys will die. The strengths of Liquid's team fight is if they're together. The moment Viper Tide show apart, you can collapse where the Wisp is.
Well, we come back live straight to a fine glimpse. Kuro just trying to get away from this fight, and they're going to protect that Ancient stack of theirs. Liquid, they've been controlling this map, it feels, for the last 10 minutes, but now LGD turn the tides, and Liquid look for something else. They go in towards Roshan.
They would have wanted to do this before that engagement bottom. That was their next play. Unfortunately, they died first. Once it's all this Deso on Lifestealer, because now they can do Roche, and as you can see, no damage taken, and he dies fast.
That he does. Miracle looking so powerful already with that Armlet and Desolator. Matubberman going to go in for both Dominator and then into a Maelstrom build for this Viper. So getting a bit more of a mix.
I like it. And it allows both him and Miracle. They went very rapid scaling items, cheap tier 3 core items instead of rushing for something crazy like a Butterfly. We've seen how that worked out in the past on Matubberman. I like this decision. Hod Maelstrom. It'll allow him to keep scaling, do damage, and you love having a Mjolnir whenever you're playing against the Beastmaster. Oh, the Glimpse on Coddle.
Goodbye. The control, just thought it was the dominated Hellbear that gave him the vision. Now FY is kind of trapped up on top lane.
They can go high ground here, Toby.
They will
this
definitely
is their
want
timing.
to.
Liquid is so strong.
You have Mech, you have Ravage. That's exactly what they want to have going into the high ground. Desolator, Miracle's going to be a frontline tank, but Tummelman's the clearance from behind. Yeah, this is going high ground. This is taking tier 3 tower, and no one from LGD is here to actually fight this. Arme's pushing bottom.
Look at the ward to their left as well. They'll find this Coddle as he runs back to base.
Boy, the tier 3 tower is going down. Fortification's already been burnt from LGD, so no more of an option. In comes FY. FY actually going to blinding light them. 4-star up into the hill, so even if they do see him, they did not kill him. But remember what Team Liquid came for. 20 minutes in, they're looking to claim a lane of racks. They're not happy with what they've got so far. Mind Control, Mana Leaked, Maledict. This is not what he wants to have on him. But it's okay. He's still got enough mana to fight.
Maybe cut the creep wave middle so they know there's no point in sticking around, as backdoor protection will come up too quickly for them to actually finish a kill on our axe.
Kuro's too late to get to the bottom lane and try and catch out the Faceless Void.
Really good play, though, and they can stay aggressive on map. They don't really need the Disruptor. Even though LGD won that last little skirmish, a team fight is a totally different beast. And look at the vision Liquid has. It's so easy for them to continue playing this area.
Miracle's on the hunt. He found X-Nova. X-Nova was coming, looking for that ward the Team Liquid put down. The sentry ward on the hill obviously reveals nothing when it's further down, and it's 30 seconds. Window of opportunity once more. They don't have Disruptor, but everyone else is here, including the Tide Ravage and a full Greaves for him.
They can also look to kill Shrines, but as you said...
You want the racks.
They're strong, yeah.
You got Aegis the Immortal, you got Miracle with these early game items. It's a push desire. Illumina can spam all he wants. Miracle, he'll just rage off the Mana Leak. Remember, you've still got Greaves. They've got that regeneration, they've got that Ravage. And open wounds, GH has to give the regen in. Arme, he only got one. He got the Viper. GH wants to relocate out. They're able to get a time lock onto him. Mind Control couldn't save his life. Ravage, he has to wait it out. This BKB's making things problematic. There goes your BKB, clipping onto 2. A time lock away. Miracle, so much survivability. They still can't get through him. Arme's been pulled back in. The storm is beautiful from Kuro. Miracle can just tank through it, and they have to get DK out of it. The Death Ward in from behind, however, it was a bit of a trade-off with X-Nova, but remember what they're here for. It's kills, it's racks, and Liquid are claiming both in this mid lane.
They can't kill anyone, Toby. They can't. They used all their spells. Look at the Delta split from Liquid. Only the Vipers in the Chrono. Yeah, they get the Wisp. He immediately buys back. He'll take that trade every day.
Oh, boy. LGD, they knew this fight was going to come once they realized just how strong Team Liquid were.
I'm just so sad. Like, how many times have we seen Liquid play this style with Wisp? Their draft doesn't seem the greatest. Okay, replay comes up. So they're hitting 2 racks, which you could argue maybe they can focus on 1, but it allows them to maintain the positioning. Miracle playing super aggressive because he has the Aegis. Look at the split right here. Boom. It's like you're watching StarCraft.
Yep. And GH is the guy who's the only one that takes the punishment for it. I thought at this moment the Mind Control was dropping fast enough and they were controlling the live stealer to get the kill, but then Miracle, he just was able to get the perfect wand armlet toggle time, and they just had no other follow-up damage.
Liquid does this so well, where they accept that death is inevitable. All you can do is as much as possible with your life. And Miracle, using his cooldowns, his spells, just to stay alive that little bit longer, secures the kill on Void, hits the racks a couple times. Yeah, they kill him, but now he's lived an extra 10 seconds. And much like we saw with FY bottom, that's all the time your team might need to finish an objective.
So now LGD at least have a little bit more time just to breathe. 50 seconds till Ravage is back off cooldown. Team Liquid will probably look to claim the outer tier 2 towns in the meantime and wait for the next Roshan. Aegis and Cheese will make them almost immortal pushing up the high ground.
I'm just so sad I doubted them. Like I saw this, I think it was doing panel in either Genting or Katowice, when Liquid had this weird Wisp, Pugna, Timbersaw, and some other hero. You look at EG's lineup, they have this Chen, Terrorblade, you're like, oh, they're going to run him over. But then you realize, wait, Liquid's in every lane, and nobody's going to die. And all it takes is this one team fight, and all of a sudden they have this killer advantage in the game.
It's that this team has no physical damage moment again, right? Like, the drafts, it's never won on a draft. It's on the execution. It's the way that these teams know how to play these drafts to make them sink.
This is LGD's timing, though. They have the Ags on Coddle. They have the sustain to outlast Liquid if they can kill the supports.
They're going to try and fight. So, yeah, you got 4 minutes until nighttime. That's what you're mentioning. Extra vision, Liquid preparing for a fight. They're going to smoke up themselves, mind control the first man at the front lines. Gushers onto Arme. Somnus, he's in through the rear. He's not getting close enough onto the sentry ward. Now he is, so GH can see him. But Tummelman, maybe GH does go down. He's got Relocate to get back in. Tether up, away. The damage is enough to follow him from Somnus.
No buyback on him, remember.
That is
look at
true.
the spacing.
It's on cooldown for the moment for Team Liquid. Now it's LGD coming from the west. The Chrono is out. Viper actually got the shields off the Chronosphere. It doesn't do enough work. The Ravage was able to stun him, and the wall control with the Storm is just too much. Paralyzing Cast from Nova is making things more difficult, but the buyback, it comes in from Faceless Void. He knows he needs to get back into this one. FY is all alone. There goes their sustain. A quick glimpse. That wasn't exactly what they're searching for, and maybe now they need a stun. They need the damage. Somnus, the TP. It'll be in time, but LGD are the walking wounded, while Liquid potentially just want to push up high ground.
They're so good, Toby. They're so good. They're just...
Yeah, these guys want a TI. I think it's a good thing on their resume.
You can just see them all play it. I don't even know how to describe it. They're just playing so well. Matumbaman understands his role. Mind Control knows his role. They bait these BKBs, and once they go down, Liquid can kill everybody.
Yep. LGD just don't have the manpower now to defend this top racks. The advantage is the tier 2 tower is still alive on bottom, so they'll have at least one more fight. Chronosphere is on cooldown for a full minute, and with GH finally arriving back with the rest of his team, Team Liquid, all they have to do is just rotate down to the bottom lane. If LGD want to come out and fight them, they'll be happy to oblige. Observer and Sentry is there. LGD back up instantly. They know what's coming. They Sentry, the dust is out. Somnus burns the BKB. The stun onto GH once more, but he's got the life, he's got the sustain. Both Crimson as well as Greaves got off, which gave them the life back straight away. And now maybe with Illuminate, sustain for LGD. This is your time for the Storm from Kuro. Locking in Somnus, locking in Arme, and probably locking in game number 1 as LGD call GG. Team Liquid have executed to perfection this draft.
I watch Liquid play, and they're just better than you are. And it doesn't matter who you are in the world of Dota. This is why VP can win a couple of majors, be undefeated in group stage, and still say, the only team we really respect is Liquid. Because when they're on point, they play beautiful Dota, and it honestly looks like almost the rebirth of a Wings type style, like but their own flavor. It's just so good. Everyone contributes. They are true Team Dota. Every team fight item they could have possibly had that game, they picked it up. They hit timing after timing, and they just take the game.
Yep. This is that time too where you start to think like, okay, 5 minutes into the game, like, can I just call GG? No. Think about it, how it's all going to play out. Because we did have like legitimate concerns, like Disruptor, was he really going to have a big influence? He didn't at the start. Instead, it was the Witch Doctor who was really the bigger story. And the IO was kind of nothing, but they realized what they could do.
Yep.
And then they just focused on that, and they played to their own strengths.
And they just played great Dota. I'm here thinking like, oh, how are they going to move around the map? How do they protect the supports? Like, they protect the supports by just using the cores as a meat shield. It's like a group of Triceratops protecting their young, right? But it's not. It's killers. It's Curl and GH.
They hunt like raptors, not Triceratops.
Exactly.
We don't eat.
God, imagine if all the dinosaurs worked together. It's terrifying.
Maybe they would have survived. Team Liquid, they get through game number 1. We'll see if LGD can survive for game 2.
That game was far from prehistoric, that's for sure. Liquid in fine form as they go 1-up in their opening match and their opening game of this semi-final of the upper bracket. We'll find out what our panel members thought of that. Lacoste, another great display by Liquid. And again, they confound us in many ways because you sort of look at a lineup and you go, how's that going to work? That doesn't look looks a bit weird, but they make it work every time.
Yeah, Team Liquid is the only team right now that can pull out a lineup like this and win. You don't get more Liquid lineup than this. We saw in the games yesterday with the Virtus Pro as well, like most of the teams would lose 20 minutes in with this kind of a lineup. They have something. I'm trying to understand, but I think most of us don't understand what they're doing. Like, they understand the timings so well. After they get the Roche, it's go-go time. I might underestimated the GH Wisp, even though it's the best in the world, but the amount of the space and the heal he provides for his team, the positioning is always on point. it's just so hard to fight into them. Like when there were, maybe it's you can look at it two ways. Either Faceless Void couldn't land a good chrono, or the positioning from Team Liquid was divine.
I almost feel like a different team than LGD would have won this. It's weird because I looked at LGD and the fact that they played so fast that maybe was willing to be a space creator and change up his playstyle. I thought that meant that LGD was going to be more, would have greater depth as a team, but it feels like that they still look kind of one-dimensional in this regard against Liquid because of the fact that they just absolutely refuse to focus more on shoving out waves and split-pushing towers. When Liquid, you know that they're going to be playing this 5-man with a Tidehunter and a Viper. They're going to be doing that. LGD, I think other teams would have actually abused the fact that they have these kind of heroes and just split-push constantly, but LGD, they just feel compelled to fight into Liquid time and time again.
Maybe they misread the situation. They thought they were stronger than they were.
Yeah.
But back to what Lacoste mentioned, that Void couldn't land a good chrono the whole game. This has something to do with the Tide factor. Having to go up against the Tide, it's always at the back of your mind. If I don't get the Tide in the chrono, I'm probably not going to kill. We don't have enough damage to kill, and they are already struggling with damage in this game. They have the Pipe, the Greaves, and everything.
Crimson Guard on Wisp, no
that was a really
that was amazing.
That was a really good item on GH. Probably a maybe you can say it's a game-winning item or whatnot, but his play by itself, it's already game-winning.
Wisp too, right? Like you have two different heroes that you want to be able to catch inside the Chronosphere, otherwise relocate out, or a Ravage. It's a pretty tough position to put Ame in, and I personally felt like that was the biggest problem, is that because they put so much around Ame to be able to carry those games, I thought his laning phase was actually going to be worse than it was. He actually did okay in CS against this Tidehunter. He did quite well for himself. He was near the top of the board.
I think the problem was the Beastmaster and the Koro lane didn't went well for them. If you have that lane and you don't do well, it just falls apart. Maybe they could have split push a little bit more with the recall, with the Beastmaster. They have a good vision.
I think partly it was due to the rotation. You mentioned Void didn't have a really bad, like as bad as I expected, because GH left the top lane after like a bit. Yeah. He went to secure the bottom lane. That is also why the Keeper of the Light and Beastmaster did not have such of a great impact in the game. I'm thinking maybe when that happens, LGD didn't really respond quite well. They didn't like send the Witch Doctor. Maybe they could have done that, send the Witch Doctor down. But I could understand that he was also concerned for the fact that Void against Tide in the lane, that's a no, that's a bad matchup. He's going to struggle. So he decides I have to stay here. And it becomes like a 3 against 2 at bottom. Tide, he didn't get as much after the IO left, but I think overall, big picture wise, they secured top, they secured bottom, balanced distribution of resource across 3 lanes. I think that's what wins you Dota right now.
Yep. The problem was, I think they also had no burst damage on side of LGD. Even if they use Roar, if they get the Chrono, there's always the Tide Hunter factor, but they had nothing to burst them with. And when Tide Hunter picked up Greaves, Pipe, you're always afraid of Wisp as well. They did a good team fight on a Wisp, and they killed him. That's exactly what they needed to do. But after that, he just bought back, and you used all of your spells just to get the Wisp, and the fight was reset.
Okay, 10-1-16 Miracle in that particular game. Is he your MVP?
GH.
I'd say GH.
I was trying to persuade you otherwise, but it was quite obvious, really.
It's always hard to say no to.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Is it as well as MVP? Is it instant ban next time around?
No, I don't think
most teams do, don't they?
No.
But there's so many things you need to ban against Liquid. They banned the Prophet, they banned the Lone Druid, they banned the Vano. I would make a strong argument that those 3 heroes are also first ban materials against Liquid. And now you have to ban this IO.
They beat the Veno before, right?
Let the Veno through, put the Wisp in there?
I think for me, it's easier to beat the IO. They just need to play accordingly and maybe draft a different kind of setup. Even more team fight instead of going for, because this game they went for more like the vision control, the Beastmaster, the Koto. Maybe they go for like a more heavy team fight against this. I think Veno is personally I feel Veno is disgusting. It's harder to deal with the IO than the IO. So yeah.
Right. One or the other anyway. We're going to head to a break right now, but don't go too far away. Game number 2 is coming very shortly. Can LGD get themselves back in with a chance of finishing in the top 3 for sure? We'll